So what we going to do, guys? We have a thing that we do. We're going to just kind of start our village meeting just like we start our village meeting when we meet, so you can kind of see what we do. We have a preamble that we do, and then we're just going to kind of dive right in the conversation and let the program kind of go as it has been laid out. So, Bree, I'm going to bring you the mic. And we're going to volunteer you to read the preamble for everyone who's here to see how we do our Wednesday meetings with the village. And you guys can see how important this is for everyone who is a part of what we are doing to make our communities safer. Okay, here we go. Technical. All right, Bree.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. I can't say enough how excited I am to be a part of this important initiative. So I wanted to share our preamble on the screen, but they're not talking well to each other, so I'll just read. Welcome to the Village, an incubation space for grassroots community organizations developed and supported by the Metro Nashville Mayor's Office and the Center for Nonprofit Management. This space was conceived and brought to life by Ron Johnson and Don Stone. The mission of this space is to provide a safe location for leaders of grassroots community organizations from marginalized communities, identities, or lived experiences to thrive, connect with peers, gain access to resources, wisdom, funding, and power. We affirm the identities and lived experience of all who enter the village, and we will do our best to protect this space from oppression, including anti-Blackness, religious discrimination, misogyny, homophobia, ableism, classism, and all other forms of disrespect and bias. We don't need to always agree, but we must respect the humanity of us all. We hold this community to high standards so that we can build a better society than the one that has oppressed us. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes many villages to change the world. Now let's get started.
Okay, y'all. That's what we do every Wednesday. Is at the end we say, let's get started. And we would bring someone in to share and to continue to build up our organization. Some of the organizations that we have are, much bigger than some of the smaller ones. So no one is exempt from what it is that we try and do. But one of the things that we want to do is to make sure that everyone know that they are loved, they are welcome, and we care. And we care from the mayor's office. And this is exactly what the mayor has continued to let everyone know. This is birthed because of him caring. And so therefore, I'm going to turn it over and let the mayor take it from there and be quiet.
Wow. Well, thank you, Ron. And it's you, well, thank you. It's you and Dawn that I'm so grateful for. I really think we're looked at by a lot of cities as a model, and it's your leadership that's helping make that happen. I mean, community safety is a pillar of what makes a great city. A homicide in a neighborhood will even reduce kids' test scores. It affects all of us in the community, and that's why it has to be a top priority. But we have to live in the reality of the moment. Crime in cities is above the pre-pandemic level. I was in a meeting with the chief last week. Gun theft, auto break-ins, this is causing crime rates to rise. Now, I'm grateful. President Biden had an address in Scranton last week, and they've got a $37 billion plan to address crime nationwide. So I'm glad that there's national recognition for help, and there's $15 billion in that for grant programs for the cities and the state to help support groups like the ones in the room. Well, we can't wait for federal help. We have to go ahead and support groups like the ones that are in the room. And we're doing better than most here in Nashville, but we can't take our safety for granted. It's a priority. And if I can, I want to thank Chief Drake, because we have a department that's committed to always improving. That's not saying we got everything right, but we're committed to always improving. And that's a great thing to have a leader who's committed to always improving and to responding to our needs and to constantly set standards for excellence. To set a standard for what we're expecting and to be exemplary, but engaging with youth and residents And solving and preventing crime is everything to a city, and we see that every day in Nashville. Now, the city's trying to do our part in several ways. We need to fund things like new vehicles and equipment and more officers. I mean, we added recently 46 more officers to our staff. We're going to need new officers to staff the 9th precinct, and we're going to need more officers so that we don't have compulsory mandatory overtime. And we're looking forward to a department that is so well staffed that you don't have mandatory overtime. And 2 years ago, after the murder of George Floyd, I appointed a 40-person policing policy commission to determine how our police and metro government can better serve the community. And it's worth thinking back in time. They came up with 3 things, that policing commission, in the wake of the murder of George Floyd. Now, one was to shift to more community policing. The second was to strengthen our diversity with a police department that reflects the community. And the third is to broaden our understanding of community safety to form a real partnership with the community. Now, we took those recommendations very seriously, and I know the chief and the department took those recommendations very seriously. And you have with the chief commitment to precision policing and not community over policing, to precision policing. The chief is also committed to recruiting and diversifying our department so that we achieve the second goal, which is a police department that looks like our community. And then the third here is today with Ron Johnson, our community safety coordinator. Ron has brought, and if I can just, he's too humble, more than 190 community groups. 190 community groups focused on violence prevention and intervention. Now, some are here today, and I hope we'll hear from them together. And I love that he calls this the village. And I am proud of the work of Ron and Mike Lacey and the coalition of all of us together to achieve this third goal set up by our policing commission, because it takes churches and civic groups and nonprofits to take on, I mean, these are heavy issues: domestic violence, re-entry, food, housing, addiction. It's going to take all 190 organizations to make progress. And we have people like Sterling Wright, Chief Sterling Wright, known to many of you as Mr. 100, who I hope we're going to hear from in the village. Very good. Giving back to the community he grew up in, feeding hungry folks, teaching his community to cook for themselves, all right here in Napier, Suticum. We also have folks like Joe Bradford, known to his community as Papa Joe. And his organization, called Elijah's Heart, brings aid and a loving spirit to children in this neighborhood who need somebody in their corner. And thank you, because we have Papa Joe. But the village is going to require metro funds to help get us. We can't wait on the Biden administration. The work of the village is too important. So I'm thankful that the city is able to distribute money to support, can't fund all of it, but we can support the work that you all are doing. Now, there was just a round of grants with 19 nonprofits in this community specifically receiving funds. But we're going to need more. We're going to need guidance. We're going to need to connect better and partner with each other in this important work, because crime is always going to be a challenge to communities. It's been, it's not going to go away. It's how well we respond. And what are we doing to prepare us and our community and people to help law enforcement meet this challenge? It's a different way maybe of looking at how do we help law enforcement, because law enforcement, I love saying our chief, by the way, our chief. How do we help our chief, our department? There should not be alienation or separation. It is our law enforcement. It is our chief trying to help our communities be better. But again, Ron, thank you and your group, and thank Nashville for this innovative work, and thank all of you for being part of a new approach to having a better community. And with this, let me turn it over to the man who every day goes to work trying to make Nashville a better place and his department even better, and that is Chief Drake.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Cooper, and thank you all for being here. I grew up as a native Nashvilleian, and my family always said it takes a village to make a community better. And just when I heard the words "the village," that's the first thing I thought of. The partnership between several individuals to make our city safer. And I did a little bit of research of organized neighborhoods of Edge Hill, and I see it's been 31 years that this has been in effect. And it's really a formal partnership that started in 1991 and has grown today. Our police department is built on 3 core pillars, and that's organizational excellence. We want our police officers to be their best and to provide the best experience. And this is not customer service, this is the best experience. What happens from the moment you make the phone call or have that interaction, what are you left with? And that's what we're working on every single day, to be better, to improve, to be innovative and evolve. So we're constantly, as the mayor said, working to get better. And the next is community engagement. That's the second core pillar. And the reason why I established that pillar is because I wanted people to understand the beauty of relationships, right? When you look at trust in communities, between communities and police departments, how do you gain that? How do you understand each other? And I wanted our police officers to know that every transaction wasn't a business transaction. It's really an opportunity to build a core relationship. It's an opportunity for us to get to know the community, an opportunity for the community to get to know us. And then at the same time, we have precision policing. There are people out here committing harms each and every day. And we have to do something with those people. But realizing we can't arrest our way out of it, we look for alternatives to incarceration. We want to build systems to where we can have some redemptive value with people who can go out and contribute to society. And that was really my 3 core values that I saw. Looking at crime right now, we have 3 more homicides this year. We have 79 as compared to last year. Some of those are multiple events. We had individual domestic situations. I won't get into all of them. But we formed a team called the Titans team, the investigative team to address neighborhood shootings. And that was a core concept where we took gang detectives who always had a pulse on what was going on in the community, always had the information on what crime was occurring, and was able to put names and faces together. Also with juvenile crimes officers, where they knew the young people that were committing harms. And the whole core value is when we get the Titans team together after an homicide, we're able to identify the suspect a lot more quickly. So our homicide rate has gone up from 47% to 67%. And in those homicides, we know just about every suspect is just developing that case to where we can have prosecution. And that's pretty outstanding. The mayor talked about guns a little bit. Year to date, we're on a trajectory to have more guns stolen ever in Nashville. Right now, we have over 1,300 guns stolen year to date. That's more than the 900 we had last year. We've had 945 stolen from vehicles just this year. And looking at gun ownership, and I don't have a problem with gun ownership, but being a gun owner, we have to be responsible. And that's where a lot of our young people are getting these weapons to be able to use them on the streets today. And so one big message that I always put out there is let's secure our guns, and that way we can reduce crime. A little bit more about our Titans team. They've seized 38 guns year to date. They've had 74 search warrants. They've arrested 265 persons, 30 for homicide, and 17 persons of interest of homicides that have outstanding warrants. It's unbelievable. But we also have a partnership with the federal government, with the U.S. Attorney, where we presented more than 50 cases for federal prosecution. And year to date, we've submitted 108 gun cases, which is really astronomical. In 5 years, we've had 3,807 guns stolen. That's a lot of guns on the street, and that correlates to more violence. And so let's do something about that, and that's why I'm here to work today. I want to thank all of you for what you do. I want to thank Mayor Cooper for his commitment, and I'm committed to you all as well to making Nashville safe. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. So with that, we're going to kind of just dive right into kind of what we do, but I'm going to give you guys a little overview of exactly how the village work and what we do weekly. So Dawn Stone, they told me I got to get a new word. She is the bomb.com. So therefore, that is how you get in touch with her. She's the bomb.com. But really, she works tirelessly day and night doing what she has done for the Center for Nonprofit and for the people that we are serving in our communities. But in that, we have a coach. And I know he don't like to be seen. You know, like on every team you have a coach. And John Bunton in our office is that behind the scene coach who has been really working with us and giving us the tools that we're needing, helping us do a number of things. As a matter of fact, the coach, I said, I need you to play quarterback today. And he brought all the food. So, thank John for that. So thank you, John, for doing that. And also, I just want to recognize all of our elected officials who are here. I may not call you by name. I just want you to know we really appreciate all that you guys are doing, because this is only our second in-person meeting that we've had since we started November of last year. And we're going to dive right into kind of, allowing the mayor and the chief to kind of talk with these people who you are seeing right here at the table, and one that just walked in, are the people that receive funding from our Napier Sudicum grants that we provided, which was $820,000. But before I do that, I want a couple of people to just kind of say some words of what this has meant to them. I'm going to call one. He's going to stand up. He's probably going to make everybody shout. Mr. 100, if you don't mind, if you'd come up here. You guys, I want y'all to know. So, if you guys don't know who this guy is, he is famous just like he's doing. He's a famous chef from Hell's Kitchen in season, I think, 13. But I want to tell y'all a real quick story while he entertained. A real quick story. He had an opportunity to move to Vegas and be one of the top chefs at Simon's Kitchen. But because he grew up in Napier Sudicum, he said no. He wanted to give back to his community. He turned down that job and he came back here to do what he's doing right now. And he's a part of what we are doing in this community and what we've done thus far. And I'm going to let him talk about 3 minutes, and then I'm going to take them. No, 3 minutes.
First of all, I can't do nothing without saying thank you to God, because he made everything possible. So I'm going to give y'all what I teach the kids, because I'm the example of South Nashville. I'm not part of the statistic. I'm the guy that solves the problem. Everybody talk about it. I'm the guy that be about it. I'm the guy that show my actions without talking. I'm that Michael Jackson, that man in the middle, to be the change that you want to see. That's me. Okay, but now I just want to thank the mayor's office, especially you. We was able to change over 40 children's lives this summer because of this grant. The grant helped me. We found out, it's a food desert. There's no grocery stores. It was not that many summer camps. And then there was no free lunch. So, what that happened with our kids in our community, they come out of their house and they hungry. First thing they gonna say is, I gotta do anything that's necessary to feed my family. So, thanks to you and your grants and all y'all help, we cut out hungry. Because our kids came to the school and ate, but took food home to feed the whole family. So one thing I really love that people don't give credit to is the single moms. The single moms might work 8 hours a day, then got to come home and cook, clean, look after their child. By doing the program, though, they didn't have to cook not one time every week. And so I thank y'all because y'all made it possible. Y'all saw that word impossible, it's a devil's liar. Spell right but pronounce wrong. It's impossible. And I thank you. And last but not least, you can't spell community without the word unity, and look at it. Wow. Big facts.
Drop the mic.
Wow.
Drop the mic.
Wow.
That's Mr. 100, y'all.
Wow.
And trust me, this is not a show. That is him all the time. If you go back and Google Hell's Kitchen, you'll see that all the time. He was asked on the show, what does he put in his food? And he told him, I put love. Well, how does love taste? Well, taste it. That's what thank you, Mr. 100. We appreciate that. So we got a couple of other people we're going to have to just kind of share. We're going to try and move along pretty fast. Thank you, sir, for being very short. Mr. Muhammad, you guys, Hassan, is one of the guys who has been doing what he do for a minute in this neighborhood for our immigrant community. And he does some amazing things. They just had it's this weekend. They got a big soccer program. But I want him to share real quick, and then we're going to let you guys hear Mr. Papa Joe. And if you guys have not heard from Papa Joe, wait till you hear from him, and then I want you to go and watch his movie. So here we go, Mr. Muhammad.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you, Mayor John Cooper. I want to thank you, our Chief Derek, if I pronounce right. I want to thank Ron Johnson and Don Stone and Mike Lacey and Brianna Tillman. I want to thank you, all of you coming here today. My name is Ahmed Hassan from Somali, President of Somali Community of Middle Tennessee. Our community has been serving since 2017. It's a non-profit existing to connected of families of Middle Tennessee to educate, resource, emotional, physical support, increase opportunity, health, and belong. With the help of the mayor office and their generous grant, we were able to accomplish our vision. Thank you to Ron Johnson, Don Stone, Mike Lacey, and Amanda Thomas, and Brianna Tillman. It is wonderful to see organization, the police department, the local government united to serve people of this neighborhood. We are committed to doing what we're supposed to do and to help our people and our community and bridge the gap to connecting us, all of us. Village will connect all of us, and we are committed to work with them. We are committed to work with our John Cooper Mayor Office, and the police department. We are committed to work with. We had last 3 years, we had the soccer tournament. 16 teams come from all over the country, used to play here in Nashville. This year, there was the logistic problem, and we pushed back. And I think hopefully, it maybe 1 month from now, we may be able to host it again. So that the soccer team, all of them are Somalians, come from Minneapolis, New York, Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan, come from all over the country, play here, choose to love Nashville and play here. So our city is a well-known city. It's a diverse city, the city where everybody love and want to come here and see that, the wonderful people live in Nashville, and, they're what they call, and our people is, welcoming people. Good people when it comes to welcoming people, friendly people. Food is, delicious. Everybody love it. Everybody love it. So, I may not say what I supposed to say. If I say something wrong, forgive me. So I'm thankful to here today. I'm thankful to see all of you and to see our mayor, to see our chief, and thank you all. Thank you. God bless you.
So I took the mic because I wanted to introduce this guy properly. And like for real, you guys, this man right here has sacrificed so much of his life for our city and for our community. So much so that someone saw that what he was doing was so worthy, they made a movie about him. And I didn't get to play in it, but the next one I'm hoping I can be a part of because he does some amazing things, and I'm gonna let him tell you. Papa Joe.
Yeah, if you go to papajoe.org, you'll see a guy, you can see the link to the movie, a guy named Michael Ealy, a light-skinned guy with blue eyes. He looks exactly not like me, okay? Can everybody say consistency? What the mayor's doing, what Chief, what Don and Ron, all of the people, Mike, are doing, they are allowing us to have consistency in what we're doing. We've been doing this for about 20 years. Denise, where are you at? My wife's right here. I'm a transplant patient, y'all. I don't have a lot of energy. I've been a transplant patient kidney for almost a quarter of a century, which is a long time. We have 8 children. After the second child, they said we weren't going to have any more because I was going to be sterile because of medication, but God didn't get the memo. We had 6 more children. We have 9 grandchildren. The reason I'm saying that is because we love children. Consistency has to happen with the children. We bring a lot of stuff into the community because we're blessed by people like this mayor and Ron and Don. We have a program called the Walk of Love. We flood the place with food, with people who love the community, but we got to do it every day, every week. On Saturday, my kids are hungry, y'all. If it rains, when are you more hungry, when it rains or when it's sunny outside? Both of them, right? So rain or shine, we need to be out there loving those kids. When we are out there, the kids are out there playing because they feel safe. When we get funding like this, we can be out with the kids and they feel safe. The officers in here that know us, they know when we go somewhere in the community, violence goes down because we're out there loving. Is that right, Mr. Hundred? Or yes, violence goes down because the gangsters like us. You know, I just have to call it what it is. Yeah. And so we show love because we are supported by love. So that's all I got to say. So I think all the people responsible for this, y'all are a big blessing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, you guys. So there we have it. Now we're going to just kind of, open it up for the people who are here at the table. I'm going to kind of walk and hold the mic, and we're going to you'll kind of get to see how we do what we do, but now we have our leaders here. And so we're going to just have some Q&A. You guys have some questions or some things that you know that we do. You have a little program that we've given you right there. Some of you guys may have it. Could follow along. There's some numbers in there to kind of let you know what we've done as a city thus far in the last year, how, years ago, grants was given, what has been done. But here's one of the things that I want to do before we do that, because she didn't plan to talk. She don't like to talk with the mic and stuff like that, but she can talk, y'all. So I'm going to let her share while you guys kind of think about your questions and whatnot that you just kind of want to. We're going to have this is a round table. So a round table where we just sit around, have conversation, love on each other. We might agree. We may not agree, but at least if we agree without being disagreeable, we still can love each other when we leave the table. Y'all agree? Okay. Don Stone, I was about to give you this mic. She's sitting over here like trying to hide. Say something, Don.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, everyone, for being in this room. So my brother knows it's like we're twinning. So I'm a native Nashvilleian, and my family actually started right here on the first drive of JC. My mother has a bucket walking when she was potty trained. Went to Cameron, we got Pearl, then we moved out east, so we had to fight because I was a part of the Settle Court community, which is now some other name. But I just want to say, I want y'all to know what the impact is. If you look at this page, the accomplishments of fiscal year 2022, you know, we were asked, and forgive me, I'm very, very open and blunt. We were asked if we could do this. And when Terry Hughes, who is the executive director of Center for Nonprofit Management, brought me in my first day, Ron and I met the first day we worked and was given this project. And then he and I looked at each other and was like, I should have known you 20, 30 years ago, because we could have been working on this. So it's really amazing. And I want y'all to see over 250 members. To be able to do this, we really exceeded our expectations, because the first was going to be 35 organizations. And Ron and I said it wasn't good enough. So the people who are in this room, I want to thank all of you for trusting and believing in us, because traditionally people of color don't work well together. And I'm going to say it. And it's because of the things that have been put in front of us, obstacles, trust, the relationship that you're talking about. If we are not able to build the trust that we need, there's one of my good teachers right there. That's right, Deputy Mayor. Hey, well, okay, all right. So you have to understand, this is a family, and we have to build our community one brick at a time. And so all of us being here and being a part of this work is important, and it is necessary. And I want y'all to know, I personally can attest to every hour, every piece of sweat equity for all of you in this room. New organizations and old organizations have done the work. And we're looking forward, Mayor Cooper, to having and doing more. My original ask was $1.5 million to get what I need done in this city. And for us to be able to do that, you see the results. And I want you to know, we are really here to do the work. And part of these 150 hours of consulting, that was physically sitting side by side asking organizations of color what they need. Brother Hassan brings me to tears all the time. He listened. He literally tripled his financial outlook within the first 3 months of being in the village. He had checks, was like, where do I go? Do I need to deposit these? I'm like, what? Right? And so it's things like that. Partnerships with the Wandery. I've got Jacqueline, thank you for being here. Partnerships with Vanderbilt University, partnerships with Tennessee State University, Fisk University. All of these agencies, we all need each and every one of us in this room. So none of us is as big as the biggest person, which is all of us. All right, I'm done. I'm not talking anymore. What am I supposed to do? You can't give me the mic. Thank y'all for being here, Village. I see y'all. Hey, everybody. Steve, Jackie, Benjamin, Anthony, AJ, Secret Weapon, Diamond, I see you. Rough Riders, hey, how y'all doing? All right, so I just want to say thank y'all so much. And whatever we can do to continue this work, let us do it. We are here. We are ready. If you can see in the room all these beautiful faces, we are Nashville, and we're not going anywhere. That's all I got to say.
I told y'all she didn't want me to give her the mic. Thank you so much, Dawn. So what we're going to do right now is a couple of you guys have a few things that you want to ask or you want to talk about. So for you guys who may not know, there were 14 agencies, as mentioned earlier, that was awarded grants for the Napier-Sudercom area, which totals to $820,000 for those organizations. And so these are the organizations that received that funding. Now, some of them are still waiting. There's a few things that we have to do. But one of the things that we do with the village, not only do we help prepare, there are agencies that have never had an audit. There are agencies that have never had a financial report. And they don't know how to do those things. And Dawn takes them and make absolutely sure with the partners that we have and give them those things that we need. If we don't know how to do it, we're going to ask somebody. You know, one of the things I don't think Chief got a chance to tell you guys that we have our co-response team. And a real quick story about co-response. My stepdaughter was having a moment, and she had come to my house, and we was trying to get her in the car, and there was a real serious moment there. And one of the counselors that was in the car with the officer talked to her and was able to talk her completely down. And I said, you know what, I'm a believer. I'm a true believer, because this young lady used to be off the chain. But to see her calm down in a situation like that, thank you, Chief, for leading that Thank you so much, Mayor, for appointing and allowing those things to continue to happen. I just want to personally thank you publicly because I was a recipient of seeing it happen with my own eyes. So thank you so much. Anyway, you guys, you guys were keyed up. Mike told y'all to say something, I think. No. And all the people who are online, I thank you guys. If you could send your stuff, put it in the chat. We may get to ask those questions, but we just want to have a conversation. And you guys have anything that you kind of want to ask. Because remember, we're all in this together. No woman or no man is an island. It's going to take us all to do what we need to do. So I'm going to just sit the mic down, and you guys pass it around, talk to the leaders, and let's have a conversation. Y'all cool with that? Well, let's do it. I'm going to sit it over here in front of this brother right here.
No pressure.
All right. Well, I just want to thank Chief Drake because being downtown, I'm Kenny Alonzo from Rocketown, and I appreciate being called an organization of color. That's all I get. Because we serve all kids, right? Regardless of ethnicity. My brother Papa Joe and I have been doing a lot of work together for a long time. We do great partnerships together in this community, and so we're blessed to serve here. But I wanted to focus on one area specifically about crime, because our goal is to reduce crime, especially with young people. And so we have kids from Sudicum Napier that come over to Rocketown every single day. We did a summer program we've done for a couple of years through our Director of Outreach and Programming, Donnie Klostermeyer, who brought it from Los Angeles and implemented a new program here, and it's been working. And so one of the things that we have done for years is work in this community during the summer, but we lose our kids from the community during the school year. This year, that's not the case. And so it's because of this grant, because we're able to drive kids from the community to our location every single day. So thank you all for that. But Chief Drake, I wanted to just highlight one of the programs that you're doing specifically with the homeless population, because it's growing. And we have people on our property every single day that we have to, quote unquote, deal with. And when we call the police department and they come out, the level of respect that they deal with these situations it's so unfamiliar to me, because I'm from New Orleans and our police department doesn't deal with people the same way. And so it starts from the top down. So Chief Drake, I want to thank you for that and tell you that the homeless population may be growing in Nashville, but they're dealt with in a respectful way. And they know that. And so we're blessed to have Chief Drake and so many others involved. But back to our kids, if there was a need, it's been food. And so from Mr. 100's program to Papa Joe feeding kids to what we do every day, we feed kids every single day in our location. So it's been a blessing, because when they're full, they're less apt to go out and find opportunities, right? And so the question is, are there things that we can do not only for the kids but for the families to increase their access to healthy food on a daily basis that they're not receiving right now? McDonald's is not healthy, but that's a cheap option. And so they'd rather go to McDonald's than go buy a healthy meal. But if they were given a healthy meal, I guarantee they would prefer that over a Big Mac. So there it is.
Everybody's scared. All right, Mr. 100.
Oh, yeah. I got a big mouth. I'm Sherry Jackson. I'm Executive Director of the HUGS program. We've been around since 2006. And we focus on the women and men that's coming out of prison or jail. And we do a holistic approach with the families as far as the parents first. Most of us here are spiritual, and we heard in the Bible about Aaron's, the oil, the anointed oil falls down to the feet. So we have to start with the parents, so the oil can start from the top of the head and flows all the way down to the children. So we use our program, which is a 16-week program. We focus on mental health and substance abuse, because majority of the people that are incarcerated or have a substance abuse issue stems from mental health. So we do the holistic approach. I don't know, people probably heard from me a long time ago when we started the resource fairs in the prison, in the jails. HUG started all of that to be able to get the resources to the person before they get out. Because as you know, I'm a 7-time felon with a federal charge being in the system, and I thank God he is the number one that I done came out. I have been traveling around the world. I have my passport. Lord Jesus, whew, hallelujah. I am finishing my master's degree in clinical mental health. So with the resources that we have to help the ex-offenders coming out of prison and jail, it helps them become successful. So my question is that we need, it's a statement per se, we need to help more of the men and women that's coming out of prison and jail. We need to get the women connected to their children to have that bond. There is an awesome program in London, England, that has their children, the women has the children in prison after they birth to get that bond. We need to figure out how we are able to connect the mom and the child together while they're serving prison time, because that is important. That is, even the fathers, we have to get that bond with the families, because that is the only thing that is going to help our families. I want to say this also. We have a program every year. We help the men and women give Christmas to their children, and through TDOC. One year I heard this little boy say, and it hurt my heart, I didn't know my father cared. So that put us on another path to help families and start with the parents. So what can we do more instead of us doing it separately to help all the programs that got the resources to be able to connect as a unity, as Mr. 100 said, unity, because we're all separate right now. We need to connect.
So you guys, here's the thing that I want you guys to kind of know, and this is something that I talk with the mayor about quite a bit. We know that hurt people hurt people. Those are real things, and we really are serious about letting people know how much we care. Because you hear this said a lot by a lot of people. They don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. But those are facts, as Mr. 100 would say. Those are facts. We have some amazing people that are sitting here, y'all, and I don't want them to be nervous in asking their questions, but I really want you guys to ask a question, and I think I got one over here, and I wanted y'all to know too, there's a young lady that's sitting at this table. She's real shy, but I'm gonna put this mic in her hand in a few minutes as well. And but her life has been changed through the programs that we were able to put in, the funding that we were able to put into Napier Sudicum. And I really want her to tell that story, because I don't know if the mayor knows that story, but I'm going to have her to tell that story here in a few seconds. But we're going to have this question to be asked right here. This is also one of our grant recipients as well. And you can tell them where you're from.
Hey, everybody. My name is Centoria Frank, and I'm originally born and raised from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a Nashville now. I can't say that Chicago, you know. But here's the thing. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I will be, I'm sorry. I get a lot of calls from women, from all type of spectrums in industries, and they ask me important questions, and really the main reason why they call is because they want to listen. They want me to listen to them, I'm sorry. And it dawned on me, I talked about this at the walk, when you came to the walk. I had a young lady that reached out to me, and she made a statement that she wants to reprogram her mind. And Ironically, I knew what she was talking about. And I say this to say, before COVID happened, I was providing a service, a support group for women that had been battered or mentally abused. And in different areas, I was providing that support, and I allowed them to focus on I statements so they can focus on themselves to heal and to understand their pain and how to heal, and just to have the aspect of people listening to them. My question to you is, with me being a survivor, I went through the support system at the mayor's office, with legal aid. I got the counseling through Kim Page. I got all of that. But what I realized when I listened to victims talk when they reach out, they want to talk to people that experience violence versus the people that work in the office that have not experienced it. They rather talk to people that actually understand instead of just talking to a clinical specialist. Now I found it that you have to be almost qualified to even be in a position to get accepted in a position at that whatever office, whatever. But my thing is, what about the survivors? How can we help lead in the community where we give an opportunity opportunity for women and men that went through violence? You know, I also support bullying, anti-bullying. How do we give them an open window? How can I find a space when based on my budget, that I may not can't afford a space to actually provide services, that I find partners to open up a door to help me give these women and men support just by listening to them, because I've seen violence, I've seen gang violence raising up in Chicago, I've seen people get killed. I've seen all that. I have family members involved in gang violence. Because I understand it and I know how to communicate. How can we reach out? How can survivors be put into office, right, to help advocate versus the ones who don't understand the violence? That's my question.
How can someone who's experienced those things of violence to be an advocate in that space for ones who are suffering violence? That's a powerful question. So I'm gonna be quiet and let Mayor, you wanna dive into that, you and Chief? Oh, here, let me get you this one. That way.
Well, Centuria, and all of these comments, I think Ron would agree, are so valuable because we're inventing this work going ahead. And don't we feel the power of each other in this room, being dedicated to this work? I mean, your point about survivors being a great resource. Well, that is deep work that not only in their journey of surviving, but then they're being a resource for the community. And how do we make that happen? And how do we be thoughtful about using survivors as a resource and to turn that terrible experience into an experience that also gives back and rescues so many others? That's just a deep question, because I think it goes to personnel and HR and training by survivors. You know, again, Chief Drake is constantly, in terms of his uniform force, but Ron, in terms of the nonprofit community, there is a moment to use survivors to teach people who are in contact with survivors and to do a better job. With this, here, let me go to our Chief.
Yeah, thank you, Centuria. I think that's an excellent question, and it's one I took note of. I think the best way to approach that, I have a great partnership with Diane Lance with the Office of Family Safety, and it's just a great conversation to have with her, and I think it's really beneficial to have survivors talk about their experiences. It's just like going through therapy, right? You go through peer groups and you hear what you encountered, what you did to survive, and that's empowering and uplifting for people. And so I plan to go back, have a conversation with Diane Lance and our domestic violence division. When I was appointed, I started the interpersonal crimes branch, which is one of the kind branches in the country. I've had people from other cities say they wish they had started, and they're starting the same programs, and they wish they had the support that I'm giving people here. And that's how we can connect people that are sexually abused, physically assaulted, and those that may be human trafficked. How do we deal with all of that together? But the missing piece is actually having survivors in there is something that we're going to do, and I totally appreciate that question. So.
You are the experts.
I totally agree. I totally agree, and I appreciate that's very powerful.
That is something I really want to make sure people know, y'all. Please, thank you so much, because I know we got probably a few more questions and statements, but go ahead.
Let me answer one more question if I can. One question was raised: how do we work with those that are convicted and return into society, especially moms that are disconnected? And that's something I holistically believe in too. Is that here in the United States, when someone is incarcerated, the deck is stacked against them from that moment. And so we're maybe the only society where when you go to prison, you get out, and I've seen people energetic, ready to make their second chance on life a reality and something good, only to be told they can't get a good job because you're a convicted felon. You can't find housing because you're a convicted felon. And then by all means, you paid your debt to society, and now you can't vote. So that's not even restored to you, so you feel less than human. And then what comes of that? You go down this trap because all these things you hope for are now gone. And I think that's something that if we're gonna really be serious about reducing crime, we're gonna have to be serious about what we do with those that's paid their debt to society and how we can get them back in the flow of life. One thing you mentioned is, we're doing in the police department is how do we connect with families? And one of those is the Police Activities League. So when I did the Police Athletic League, that was my way. We had serviced over 1,300 kids who are now teachers, firemen, professional athletes, etc. And all we did really was give them structure and hope, but we also connected them with families. So it gives us an opportunity as we connect with kids through not just sports, but someone that may be wanting to do art, they may want to do music, they may want to do e-games. So we meet them where they are, and we embrace them, and then we connect with families to help them. Whether that's people that are suffering, wanting food, whether mental illness, all these things, I think we can use that as a connection. So it's something that we're working on. The Police Athletic League just started a couple of months ago with boxing. I plan to build that to a very big program again, and that's just our commitment to working in that realm. We do have to connect mothers and their babies who are incarcerated. We definitely do, because they're missing that natural void, and we have to find a way to replace that, and that's going to take a conversation. So, thank you.
So guys, I don't want to, we usually kind of try and stay as close to time as we possibly do with our 1 hour, but we always kind of go over. I'm just saying. So if you guys got somewhere to be, I'm really sorry, but we're going to try and go to around 12:15. But before we get to, I got a few questions on the outskirts here. I'm going to get to those. But I want Jamila, you guys, I don't know if you know her, but I'm going to say real quick. Did I say the name right? I always mess it up. Jamaica. I call her Jamila all the time, y'all. That's on film. I own Jamaica. Anyway, I need her, and I need you guys to hear her story because it's one that's unprecedented in a lot of our communities right here. So I'll take that one.
I stand over here. Hi, everyone. My name is Jamaica Usher, and I am a resident of Sudicum Apartments. And myself and my family, we have been a part of this community my oldest is 22, so for about 23 years. I received my first apartment here back in July of 2000. and been a part of the community ever since. So I have raised 4 children in this community. I have 2 in college, and I have 2 in high school. And so my biggest thing for me is that it starts early. I'm a firm believer of that. And so I've always instilled in my children and myself that we are not a product of our environment. It's a lot of faces in here I know from the community because you all have been here just as long as I've been here. And you all have, you know, you grew and you moved on and you moved forward, you moved out. And so I'm thankful to be a part of this community because not only do I live here, but I'm also the resident association president for Sudicum as well. And thanks to Mayor Cooper here, he's writing, but but thanks to you and your team for giving this community the opportunity to receive grant-funded money from your office. I was hired by Rafah Institute to be a restorative justice facilitator. And so I never thought that I could get paid for doing something that I do in my community anyway. I never knew that. Didn't know what that felt like. And so you gave us the opportunity. And so a lot of the issues that we have here in our community is, and I think everyone has already hit it pretty much on the head, but it's the food desert. It is the violence, the community safety. It is the child care barrier. It is the employment barrier. It is the being a convicted felon, the background expungement. We face all of these barriers in this community. And it's not just this community, it's all over the county, Davidson County as a whole. We just yesterday had gun violence take place on Charles E. Davis at 6 o'clock in the evening. Children are getting off the bus, they're coming home from after school activities, or they're walking from the library. This is a consistent thing, daily. And when we have things like that take place, and the officers come into the community, you know, and they say, well, hey, the officers are here, but what's being done? But we do have an amazing community task force with Commander Hickerson, Sergeant Weaver, Captain Morgan, Officer Luther, and the list goes on and on. We have an amazing support system here, but we need a little more. We need a little more. This is the village. It takes a village. It takes a village. And it's not just the residents. It's not just the nonprofits. It's just not the organizations. It's not just the churches and not just the politicians. We need all hands on deck. And one of the things that I enjoy about working with Rafah Institute is the fact that, like I said, I'm a firm believer that it starts early. So there are programs with Rafah Institute that gives us the opportunity to go into the homes at an early age. We have early embrace, we have early builders, and then we have that restorative justice piece, where we can come in and work with the teenagers that have caused harm or that have been harmed. And so when we receive those cases from the courts, we get to work with those children and do mediation. Because we're tired of our black and brown babies being incarcerated and not given the chance to voice what's being done to them. So we get to dig deeper into the root of, okay, what's going on at home? It's the reason why this child is doing this. So, hey, let's go into the home and see what's going on. Let's get with early embrace and work with moms that has kids from infant size up to 5 years old. And then we do early building to help the parents become entrepreneurs so they can provide for their families. So it's so much going on right now. My head is, I'm just spinning. It's just a lot. It's a lot. But my wheels are just turning. But I just want to let you all know that Rafah Institute is here. I am here as a resident. I am here as a community advocate. Always have been, always will be. Even when I move forward, I'm still going to come back and give back. Because this right here is my community. This community raised me. I was 18 to have my first child. So this community raised me. And so I have, it's only fitting for me to stay here and come back and give back. Yeah.
Facts. Thank you so much. Chief, want to jump on in there?
Those are very good points, and thank you for saying that. I actually had a conversation with Judge Calloway actually a couple of months ago after 5 teenagers who had been incarcerated, committed carjacking and aggravated assault and some more crimes, and they seemingly had only spent a few days in jail. Right back out committing the same violent crime. And as I said earlier in my presentation, it takes more than just the police department. It's going to take restorative justice. It's going to take the community coming together. It's going to take us connecting with families and then helping the cycle, right? When I grew up, the story, and I won't get deep into my story, but I went to school with 3 other kids. Those 3 kids all went to prison. One went for bank robbery, one went for several robberies, just got out a few months ago, went back for robbery again, and then one for drugs. The only thing that kept me out is that people in the neighborhood cared about me and coaches cared about me. And so if we're gonna change this area, first and foremost, we do have to have restorative justice. But 2, we need our communities connecting with these young people and working with them at an early age before they hit this cycle. And as I said earlier, once they hit that system, it's hard to come back out. It's hard to recover. And we got to look at all of those 3 spectrums and more if we're going to really do something about crime. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. You got something? Okay. So look, y'all, we got another event. We got a few more questions, but I got one particular person. I got 2 over here, and I got one back here that really want to share something about a program that she started real quick. I'm gonna let her share, and I'm gonna hold the mic there for you.
Should I take my mask off? Okay, yeah. So I'll stand up so y'all can see me. My name is Ayana Love, and I'm with the Village through Brianna and CNM. And as you can probably tell, I'm visually impaired. I lost my sight last year in September. And when I moved back to Nashville so my parents can help me get situated, I realized that there's really no resources for the blind and visually impaired. So that's why next month, my family is taking me all the way to Colorado to get the training to be independent and to have stability. So my nonprofit will provide that same experience, if not better, here in Nashville or in Middle Tennessee, where if you're blind or visually impaired or even deaf, you can come, you can live here, you can work here, and you'll have that education in Middle Tennessee where you don't have to go across the country to get it. It's called ABAVI, and I am here and actively looking for board members. I need a secretary, and I also need a treasurer. So if anybody knows anybody that is willing to help me help this intimate community of blind and visually impaired people, because there is a lot of us out here that people just probably don't even think about. But there is a lot of us out here, and we're all saying the same thing, that we need something in Middle Tennessee that will help us get that independency and stability back as a blind and visually impaired person. So if anyone wants to help, or if I can help y'all organizations in any type of way, please feel free to, approach me, and we can exchange numbers and emails, and I'm actively looking. So I just want to thank Brianna and CNM and the sheriff and chief and mayor and Ron for sending me that email and allowing me to be here today.
So you guys, this is what the village is all about. We got about maybe 7 more minutes. We got another event. We got a couple of questions over here. If you guys could keep them real short and sweet, I'm gonna see my pastor right here, and then I'm gonna come right back to you. Okay?
Just give me 3 minutes. I'm Judy Johnson, Senior Pastor of Claiborne Family of Faith Worship Center up at 81 Claiborne Street. I'm also a radio personality. I have a suggestion, not necessarily a question, as well as a comment. First, I want to thank you, Mayor Cooper. No, thank you. I thank you because I met your deputy mayor. I met Ron first, then the deputy mayor, and then what you've done. I want to thank the police because they have been a blessing to me, okay, in the area and church. One of the things I want to say is what everybody's saying, it takes a village. I've been in this area over 30 years. I know Sherry, I work with Sherry. I know Centoria. I know Jamaica, we just did something. So all of us pretty much are working together. One of the things that I'd like to suggest, two things. We do need social workers. They took the social workers out of the community. Not only do we need social workers, but we need youth counselors, okay? And I love what Centoria said, because we need counselors and social workers who can identify with us, even though we are a diverse community that's mostly brown-skinned people. And we all speak English, but we don't speak the same language. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm trilingual, bilingual. Y'all catch that, okay? Because I've not always been who I am. But one of the things I want to say is working with Sterling Wright, Mr. 100, and my observation to know that we need social workers and youth counselors who can identify with us is because when we did the summer program kickoff for Cooking the Right Way at the place, we noticed that the parents are supposed to be the foundation. But here in this community, it's almost like the children are the foundation. And what we did is we had the children cook meals and take things home, food home to their parents, and even cook for their parents. And we found that there were more parents that began to come to the place, okay, to support the children. Not only to mention that Amy Grant did something, and we took a whole group of people to her farm for a banquet. You know, so it's taking everybody, and we just need to work together. But one of the things, two of the things, social workers who can identify, not somebody's just learned out of a book, you know, that lived uptown, because when they come down here, they're going to be scared. You know, raise the voice a little bit, they pass out. No, and we need youth counselors, somebody who can identify with what's going on with our youth. And again, I want to say thank you for the team.
Thank you so much. We got one more question over here.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Hawkins. I have a program, V2V, Victim to Victory, and it's also a domestic violence program, and focusing on our young girls. So I feel that if we can build strong young girls, we'll have stronger women. So I'm focusing on that, but I'm also, what my husband used to say, have boots on the ground for the domestic violence. And my biggest question, my biggest heartbreak is housing. We have a lot of women that works, and they already have to give up their homes because of it. And if they go to a shelter, they give up everything. And the system, and I am a survivor myself, you know, that we say, you know, you have to leave, which is true for your safety. But they're being victimized again, because here they are having to start all over. Jobs are not understanding that I left in fear of my life. So when they come to me and they have good jobs, they have the ability to get back and forth to work, and they just need housing. I have reached out to just about every place around here, real estate companies, management, and everything, to see how can we get them in there. My program is grassroots nonprofit. So whatever that they get comes from me, comes from out of my pocket. And I know that's not the way it's supposed to work, but that's just the way it's working now. You know, I've helped fund V2V, not me. V2V has helped fund people escaping going out of town. We given plane tickets. You know, we've helped with light bills, we help with water bills, but we need somewhere, somebody to partner with, that if we come to you and say, this is a survivor victim, they don't have $3,000 to give you to move into this place. They just need an opportunity. And now they've tacked on new admin fees. For real, that's what you're doing anyway, administration, so how you get extra pay for that? And I was so mad, I lost my cool with one lady, and I told her, I said, I hope none of your family or yourself ever have to run out of the house with nothing but the clothes you have on your back. and have to find a way to start all over. Because that's the reason a lot of women stay in a situation, is because they have nowhere to go and they do not want to be separated from their children. Boys and young boys and girls, they don't be able to house together. So you're telling them to give up their family, and they've already lost everything else. So the community just needs someone to partner with us so that we can help these families get into these homes without having to go out and commit a violent crime to get the money to pay to move in.
So I'll answer that real quick. One of the things we're about to launch our GVI's Gun Violence Intervention. And I need to make sure that you get in the game right there on that, because that is one of the things that we will be addressing. Now, here's the thing that I really want everybody here to kind of understand. Government, the way we have to do things is we have to do it just like you hear the word say. We have to do it decent and we have to do it in order. It doesn't work where if you came to me and I got a few dollars in my pocket and I gave it to you. There's a system, there's a process, and we want everybody to understand that when you become a part of the village, we're going to teach you and show you exactly how that works. Now, it's going to be up to you to be the one to implement that. It's going to be up to you to make absolutely sure that you use those tools that we're going to make absolutely sure that you have, because it's very important. There's a lot of things that are going on in our communities, and we all have an amazing array of stories and different things that we've experienced, but we are almost out of time. I'm getting the clock time, because me and the mayor both got to be in a place in about, 10 minutes? 5 minutes? So, but just know this, guys. This is only the beginning of more meetings that we're looking to have. We're looking to have more conversations with everyone that's here. We have one last question, and I know we have a few more, but got one last question by my neighbor, my friend, my sister. Ms. Cheryl, would you?
Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Cheryl Huff, and I'm with the National Action Network here in Nashville, Tennessee now. And my question is, first of all, we have community centers. We have community center for our children. I'm an old school. I'm 50 plus. So being in the old school, we used to have community centers where we have jazz, where we have dance, where we have tap dancing, where we have all kinds of stuff. Every child on our block loved to be at that field house. We called it, because I'm from Chicago, Illinois also. And we had field house, and everyone loved to go there. Why do we have community centers and they're closed? Our children need that. We need to stay open. They get out of school at 3 o'clock. Why they close at 6? We need them to stay open to help those children. Then we also have, we need jobs for them. I need for the mayor and for the chief and for the Department of Children's Service to get together and have conversation. We're grabbing these kids out of these homes and we placing them with grandmama and auntie and friends, and they don't have income to take care of them. So those children are out here, you dealing with these kids that's breaking in cars because they trying to get $1 to take it to grandmama, and then when they see that smile on her face, that's what they want to continue doing. So we have to change the system before we can change the streets. And if we don't change that, we are in trouble. That's what our children need. We need help, real help. I have these children, these are my daycare kids. They have young parents. They parents need help. It takes a village to help these children. Mayor Haywood just asked me, how are they so manable? Why are they sitting here? Because it takes a village to help the parents, to help the children.
That's right, y'all. And that's part of the village. We got... I can't see it. Okay, to learn more. I'm going to let you read that, brother. I can't see that.
I'm reading this for Ron. To learn more, because we heard a lot about the village, if you want to learn more about what it is, or to join it as an organization or as something to support it, just go to info.nashvillevillage.org. info.nashvillevillage.org.
So guys, please, if you want to be a part of what's happening here, this is only part of a beginning of a beginning of a beginning, because we're going to always be beginning, because things are going to always happen. And that means it's going to take all of us to do our parts. Now, we're going to be getting ready to go, but I want to ask all of y'all, we're going to try and gather as close as we can to each other on this wall, and we want to take a picture with the mayor and the chief. And I know a lot of you guys had so much to say. I'm so sorry I didn't get completely to y'all, but the 14 that are here, the work that you're doing and about to do in Napier Sulicum, and anything that we can do to continue to help you do what you do, count us in. Please count us in. Just remember this: if it's legal, ethical, and moral, I'm in. Anything outside of that, you're on your own. So, what you got, a question? Oh, hey y'all, look, everybody online, look, we about to check out. Y'all can't get in this picture. Y'all gonna miss this one. So, thank you guys so much for joining the village like you always do every Wednesday. Thank everybody for coming out. Thank you, Mayor Cooper, for always doing what you do. I really appreciate you so much. You are amazing, brother. I really, 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 really appreciate you. And Chief Drake, thank you, man. A long time we've worked together. Hey, y'all, we're going to take a picture over here with Chief Drake and the mayor so we can make it out. Oh, yes.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.